Let's see. Can you write an essay on crop rotation? Crop rotation. Do you remember that at school? Write an essay on crop rotation. Crop rotation is the practice of growing a series of different types of crops in the same area in a sequenced manner. This is done to improve soil health, control pests and diseases, and increase crop yields, etc., etc. I don't know how interested you are in crop rotation and how much attention you're actually paying to this. But it shows you what you can do, doesn't it? Let me just show you a few interesting things here. That's really interesting, says Anastasia. You can copy students' work and ask the chat, did you write this? And it will usually recognize it. That's very interesting. So that means you've got to get your students to hand them in digital format, haven't you? So you can copy paste. But again, you can start, this is the first draft. It's very important to see answers like this as drafts, because then you can then say, for example, can you rewrite that? And include the names of 2 notable figures. And it should be able to do that, no problem. You see, unfortunately, I've missed my I've gone over my word limit. So after it's written this draft, once it's done this, I can say, can you rewrite it? And under 2, I still want to say, I want to see who these notable figures that it adds. I want to test it because I happen to be a bit of an authority on crop rotation, because before I was a teacher and a writer and a storyteller, I was a farmer. I was a 14th century farmer. I was one of those who actually helped to really kind of develop this as a practice. Yes, the Roman agriculturist Cato the Elder. Okay, this is the notable figure. That was my great grandfather, and popularized by Charles Townshend, of course, in the 18th century. So we can stop generating. This is actually a new feature that GPT is just added to stop, because before you'd have to wait until it's finished. You would never allow it to be interrupted. Now you can. Can you write it in under 200 words? You get the idea. Here, let's have some fun. Let's say, can you rewrite it? Let's say rewrite that version as if a child wrote it. Oh, that is very short, isn't it? So as if a child wrote it. No, too many requests. This is what I was scared of. Bear with me. I think maybe I can still do something here, because I did anticipate this problem. As I said, I anticipated this because I happen to be I used to be a Cub Scout, and Cub Scouts, I don't know if did you remember, were any of you Cub Scouts or Girl Guides? You have to be prepared. So let's see. I've got some pre-existing chats here. This is a chat I had earlier. So this is no longer live, but these are chats that I had earlier. So can you write that version as if a child wrote it? Crop rotation is when farmers grow different types of plants in the same field, but in different seasons. This helps the soil stay healthy and strong, keeps pests and diseases away, and makes the plants grow bigger all the time. It's great, isn't it? Can you rewrite that version as if Yoda from Star Wars wrote it? Crop rotation, a practice it is, where different types of crops in the same area grown in sequential seasons. Ancient civilized, it was first popularized by... If there's anybody here who can do a good Yoda impression, let me know. I'll be happy to bring you on the screen. An important tool for sustainable agriculture, it is now considered. Soil health, pests and diseases control it does. Now, can you rewrite that version as if Tony Soprano wrote it? My favorite gangster of all time. Crop rotation, let me tell you, it's a technique where you grow different types of crops in the same spot. Then I asked it, can you write a limerick about crop rotation? It gives me back, there once was a farmer so bright who knew crop rotation was right. He rotated his crops and reaped bigger harvests and had a bountiful farm day and night. Which at first thought, that's amazing, but then I thought, wait a minute, that's not limerick form. You've got to have lines 3 and 4 have got to rhyme. So can you rewrite it and make lines 3 and 4 rhyme? Don't be sloppy, you know. So it gives, there once was a farmer so bright who knew crop rotation was right. He switched up his plants and reaped bountiful grants and had a successful farm day and night. I can't think of a better way to illustrate this word generative. Is that the word? Yes, generative, sorry. A great example. That text did not exist before today. This is not just going on scouring the internet, finding something, bringing it back to you like a dog fetching a bone. This is where the intelligence comes in. Can you tell us a joke about crop rotation? Why did the farmer rotate his crops? Because he wanted to keep his plants in the spin, which I just think is rubbish. Don't ever use the chat GPT to create jokes if you're trying to be funny. Ha ha ha. Do you think there's a danger that students will use you to cheat assignments? This is what Anastasia was talking about. And I think it's possible that some students may try to use me or other language models to cheat on their assignments. However, it's important to note the primary goal of these models is to assist users in generating human-like text and not provide answers to do the work for them. It is the responsibility of the student as well as the educational institution to ensure that academic integrity is maintained and that any work submitted this is you, chat GPT, preaching to the converted here. I know this. I don't need to know this. It's also important to know that sophisticated plagiarism detection software is available and can detect if an essay is generated by. That's quite a good thing to know. Comments, because there's been a lot of people saying a lot of things. There's an arms war. Let me just mention what Alan says here. There is an arms war because this is quite common. We've got this was an article I saw, just one of many I saw in The Guardian recently. Australian universities return to pen and paper exams after students caught using AI to write essays. It says AI, but specifically Chat GPT. And just as Alan says, there's an arms race. I'm seeing a number of these. This is a Chrome plugin which teachers can install, which allows you quickly and simply to detect whether a piece of work by students has been written by Chat GPT. Whether it works or not, or rather how well it works, I don't know because I've not tried it, but I think it's quite a nice thing to be aware of this, as Alan refers to, an arms race